Yo guys, Augiesaint here and welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day and you guys are still enjoying the climb in Blue Protocol as we increase our ability score every single day. Little by little, we are getting a little bit higher. I thought I'd make this video and share with you guys for the last week that's been out now. Instead of making the daily videos like I see most people doing, we'll do like a little once a week update of where we are right now, just to give you guys a few ideas on how to actually get your ability score up. As you can see in the background, we are close to 10k ability score and we're totally free to play. I haven't spent a single cent on the game and I'm probably going to keep it that way. I'm just going to play this as like my little side MMO for now. It's really fun, but it's not something that I want to be sitting there grinding all day every day, which is really nice because you can play it that way. It's very casual in that sense. We don't have to sit there and grind like crazy. So I just really want to share with you guys a couple of tips on how you can actually get your ability score up. And maybe there's something that you learn in this video. If there is, you should totally drop a like and a sub. It helps me out so much and it keeps you guys up to date with everything moving forward. So without further ado, let's just hop straight into it. You can actually click on our ability score. You can see over here where most of your score is coming from. You can see most of our ability score is actually coming from our gear. And then we have some coming from our talents. And then we also have quite a big chunk coming from our skill training. And then once we unlock the emblem and the module, I'm not sure how those work, but those will be coming out in a couple of days from now. Those will probably be giving us a nice little boost as well. And then I also heard from some other people that once your adventurous score hits level 60, this goes up to like 2000. So I'll be getting like 2000 ability score just from being level 60. So pretty much everything is giving a little bit, although the big focuses will be on the gear and the skill training. Now, if we actually go have a look at our skill training, this is going to be our skills that we're using. It's only going to be the skills that you have equipped that will be actually affecting your ability power. As you can see, I have this one over here, 1, and we have 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these two skills, and then the top 3 skills, yeah, these are the ones that I have equipped, which I'm using. You can actually change them around depending on what you want to use. So you can move it around there, what skills you want to be using. Those are the main skills I'm using, and then you can also level these up depending on the level. So the next time we can level these up, we need to actually hit 55. So I believe that will be in like a day or two. It literally just costs Luna to level it up. So you should totally keep the skills that you are using at the maximum level. And then there's another thing over there. We can also advance them. Now this is going to cost books, and we weren't able to go past level 3 until today. We've actually got our skills to level 20. You can see it is at level 22 today. Now we can use these advanced books to go even further, although I don't have any more on me right now. I would suggest getting like your main 3 big skills up to T3 as fast as possible, and possibly focusing them and getting them to maybe T4, because leveling your skills up does give you a lot of extra ability power. So don't sleep on that. Don't be like spending your books on every skill like T1, 1, 1. You see how I have it focused on this skill, and then this skill. Yeah, these are my main 3 skills, and then I just put some into Sacred Blade. However, I think I might actually reset this at some point and then take the points out of Sacred Blade and then put them into my, put the books into Radiant, because when you reset them, it costs one of these keys, which you can just go buy on the Orb store, and then you get back all the books and the money that you have used to actually level your skills up. So if you made a problem and you spread everything out thin, then go ahead and reset it, and then actually just focus on like 2 or 3 of your main skills to push them up as high as you can, because they'll give you a much bigger boost than doing like the lower tiers. Because going from like tier 0 to tier 1 is going to be like a very small jump, but then actually going from T2 to T3 is going to be a pretty big jump, and then I'm assuming from 3, 4 and onwards it's going to be even bigger. However, I've only gotten my stuff to 3 for now. So just keep that in mind. Level up your skills and focus 2 or 3 of your main skills with your books. Don't spread them out thin, because those books are very limited right now. And also make sure you guys are checking the mystery store every day. You can get 3 books over there. These are like a selection book, so you can choose whichever ones you want. And this, I think, was like only 90 or so red one of these crystals. You see, we have a ton of these crystals, and I even spent some on pools. You get fed a lot of these while leveling up. These are the bound ones, so you can only really use them in the mystery store as well as the colorful store. And while we're here, this is another big thing I want to show you guys, is the cheer up treat. We're going to talk about how this works once we get to gearing soon, but basically all you got to know is you can buy 10 of these a week, and when you eat one of these when you're inside a dungeon, or you don't even have to be inside a dungeon, you can eat one and that like activates it on your account. So whenever you do a dungeon for the next time, you'll get 3 times the rewards, basically as if though you ran that dungeon 3 times. And using these treats is actually how I ended up getting my legendary weapon. I just used this, and then it counted for me doing the dungeon 3 times basically, and that's how I ended up getting my weapon. But I'll explain a bit more in depth once we get to the weapon. Just make sure you are coming here to buy these. And you can also get some homestead coins, because you have like so much of these raid bound things. There's nothing else really you can do with them. There's also the astral recall key over there. That's what you use to like reset your skills that we were talking about just before. And you can also check out the friendship store and the honor coins. You can see they have a ton of good stuff. We bought all the reforge materials. These materials are for reforging as well. There's some Luno. There's 25 weekly books, so make sure you have enough. I don't actually know how you get honor points, but by playing the game, I just ended up having a lot of them anyway. Oh, there's a weekly limit over there. quick click on them. Completing activity goals, weekly gameplay, and mission. So pretty much just anything you do is going to give you honor points. It's a 10,000 per week cap. Make sure you log in here, and at least you want to be buying the advanced books. And then also I would say probably the Reforged stones, and then these you also use for refining later on once you can unlock that. And Lunas, I pretty much just buy all of these, and this arcane seal is also really good because you use this for your talents. You need some of those to like go with your talent points to unlock some of the bigger nodes. So make sure you guys are checking the store to help you get all these materials to progress your gear up, your talents, and everything that's going to help you boost up your ability score. So if we come back to our ability score now, that's all the juice there is for skill training. You want to have a look at your talents. The first part of your talent tree you'll pretty much unlock just by playing. You have to fill it out. So you'll fill out all the 30 nodes in there. Then once you get down enough level, I think it's around level 38 or so it was, we actually can transfer over into a specific spec. We are playing the Recovery Shield Knight because I just want to AFK and like super heal easy mode. So this is what we ended up choosing. There's usually 2 different choices per class. So just choose whichever one it is you've done like research on, or whichever one sounds better to you. And that's going to become your main spec from now. And then these points you'll get daily. We'll get some more talent points. I believe this is 1 week now of the launch and we're sitting at 52 points. Make sure you're doing your skill trials every day. Usually it unlocks like 3 extra trials every day, and those give you like 2-3 skill points. So you need skill points to choose the little ones. You can see those are what you get from doing the trials. And then for the bigger nodes, you actually need these guard stuff, which I showed you guys in the shop is part of that 10. You can buy 10 of these a week, like selector. And then I just open them all for my tanking stuff there. But another thing to keep in mind with your talent tree over here, and the second one, this one actually you get way more power by going to the lower points. So just like have a read through all these, or maybe go to max roll or read like some guide somewhere. You can find a guide on your specific class that you choose to see which one of these nodes are actually pretty important for you. Because when I unlocked this node over here, this actually gave me 100 ability score, just going from like today's talent points. I picked up these 2 right here to unlock this, and then I unlocked this, which is a pretty big point for me, and it's really far down in the tree. And that gave me an extra 100 ability score just for free. So make sure you are picking up talent points and stuff and going further down in your tree. Obviously going with what you want. If your class needs a lot of them early on, like mine does over here, then you go ahead and pick them up. But just another thing to keep in mind, these do give you a ton of extra points. So once we get down here, and I can unlock all of these and maybe these down here. I don't think you can unlock this whole tree. It's got a limited amount of how much you can eventually get. Yeah, 40 over there, so we won't be able to get everything. But just make sure you are leveling these up and getting your talent points, because that does also boost your power up quite significantly. Let's go have a look at our gear. As you can see, we pretty much have almost all legendaries. We're only missing the bracelet over there, which we would be farming today if the boss wasn't bugged out. There's a world boss that's super easy to farm now that once we are level 50. It is the boar. I'll show you guys in a second. And he drops both of the different bracelets. So you can just jump between like channels to try and fight him. He spawns every half an hour. So hopefully he gets fixed pretty soon, because after the update, I haven't actually seen him spawn yet. And then we'll go ahead and farm up that one. But basically for your gear, you just want to make sure that you get all your legendaries, and I'll show you guys where to get all of these. There's pretty much guaranteed ways to get these, and you also want to be refining them. So you want to get their perfection up, because that's going to boost the stats on all of them. And it is nice to get the stats that you're looking for. See, for example, there, this has like a little thumbs up sign. That means mastery is something that I'll be looking for. But haste doesn't really do much for me. It doesn't really matter too much on this gear, like what the stats are, as long as you level them up so they get more value. And also the purple line on your gear, this is really important. This only comes on legendary gear. With purple gear, you don't actually get this extra purple line. And this adds quite a bit of ability power to your gear. I think that's mainly what affects it. And then also once you add the perfection up, so like getting this to 100 also affects it quite greatly. And then unlocking this third stat, which will be locked if you haven't done any perfection on it, which I'll show you guys how to do in a second. You just have to enhance it. So make sure you enhance it at least once just to unlock the bottom there. I usually try and get them up as close to 100 as I can. When you reforge, you see it like keeps track of how many times you reforge this. If I go ahead and get a better piece and dismantle this, I'll actually get the reforging material back. So don't be afraid to use the reforging material early, especially to unlock this line, and then try and get it to like 50 perfection. That's what I usually do, is I go up to like 50 perfection with enhancing, and then every time after that, just on my way to 100, I try and click it as many times I need to get one stat that I actually want, if that makes sense. I'll show you guys at the enhancement over here. You can find him in the city over here. There is the city, and then he's the bottom left over here. The gear workshop is where you want to come to. So this guy over here, you can see everybody's around him. Pretty much just talk to Maxim, and you want to go to Reforge. And then how this works, if you come down here, you can see my helmet over there. I go ahead and add all. I'm out of these reforging materials. This was another thing I told you guys to look out for in the shop. But you add those, you hit reforge, and it's going to increase your perfection over there. And that's going to increase the amount of these stats. And it's also going to change this bottom roll over here. This one changes every single time you reforge. So what I would do is I'd reforge all the way up to like halfway on the perfection, and then every click after that, I would stop as soon as it hits on something that is actually has a little thumbs up. So it's a stat that I'm looking for my class. That's just for now, early on, while you don't have a ton of these. If you have enough of these to like max out the perfection on everything, sure, go for it. And then once you actually hit 100 perfection on it, that's going to get all the gear score you can. However, you can still reforge it. If you have more over there, go ahead and reforge it again to try and change the stat. It's not going to upgrade any of the other stats, but it will change the stat over there. So if you want to keep reforging this until you get the specific stat that you need, that's how you can do it, to just get a tiny little bit more ability power. But the most important thing that's going to give you the highest boost to your ability score is by just getting the perfection up. It doesn't matter these stats at all. Only the perfection really matters. And then the purple stat over there, this is 150 HP. I believe that rolls up to about a 300. So this one could get stronger if I find better boots with 300 roll on there. So there's attack speed on that one, attack speed on that one. Well, that's actually a good example. It has 1% attack speed, 2% attack speed. So that's literally 100% better than this one on the purple line. So that's everything really about the reforge. And if you come down to refine, this is also pretty important because this does give you quite a bit of extra ability score. And it's also fixed. So if we come have a look at our gear, we can see over there our refine level is level 3. And the best thing about this refine, so all the materials you put into it is on that slot. It's not on the actual piece. So you can see I have a weapon there, but the refine level doesn't go onto that weapon. So if I was to drop this weapon and pick up a purple weapon, I would still have the effect of the refine level 3. So that's really nice to know. You're never wasting materials when it comes to refining. Although with reforging, you're never really wasting it either, because you get most of it back when you go ahead and dismantle the piece to reforge further. So don't worry about wasting materials. Just use it to get your ability score up. You get more than enough of these materials as you play the game more and more. But just so you guys know, make sure you are refining. I have mine all capped out at level 3 for right now in 12 hours. So tomorrow when the reset happens, we should be able to actually take this up. I'm going to assume we can actually take this up to level 6 tomorrow when we get to 12 hours. So I'm going to try and get some more of these materials saved up so I can actually push my weapon to +5. You can see that at level 5, we get 12 extra attacks. That's really nice. And that seems to happen on all the different pieces. For the armor pieces, we seem to get armor plus endurance. So that's really, I wonder if that maybe changes for DPS, if they get something else. But yeah, armor and endurance is really good for us. There's some extra attack on all of our accessories. So that's really good. Then down below, we have some more armor and endurance. And there's, again, on the charm is some increased attack. So make sure you're upgrading those. That is on the slot, doesn't matter on the weapon. So these materials you'll never go ahead and waste. And the last thing we got to talk about on the gear is actually embedding. This, I believe you unlock at like level 40 something on it, I want to say it was. And you can embed gems into your gear. Now have a look at this gem. This is only the second tier of gem. This is already giving me 30 crit and 20 endurance. You can change that out. There's different stats. I believe it's 30 crit and 8 strength is the other one, which is like massive amounts of free stats. The very first level of gem wasn't all that crazy. It was only +10 crit. So if you put 11 of those in your gear, that's already 110 plus crit, which is quite a bit. It's like a whole extra piece of gear fully reforged. So don't sleep on gems. That's why I would highly suggest to level up your life skills and focus on gem crafting for yourself. That's what I actually have done today. I've gone ahead and crafted these gems and I put them on every single piece of my gear. We went with crit and endurance, and crit is one of our main stats, and endurance is also really good for tanking. So with all those stats, we're at like 47k HP, getting close to 50k HP. I think tomorrow, once we can probably get up to like 10k plus ability score, we'll probably be over 50k HP. Hopefully, if we can get the last legendary piece of gear we need. So going back to the gems part of things, if you can actually come up with your life skills, and you can see the gems over here. I have unlocked this gem because it's the one that I want to be crafting. And I went and found up the materials I need for it. You just have to look what you need. So for my ruby, I needed these, and to get these, it's easy. Just click on them and you can go to how to obtain, and it shows you right there, trading center or gemology, raw ore. You click that, it's going to show you there, raw ore. This is what I actually need to go ahead and farm. You can track it and go find out exactly where it drops. And then I also need gemology level 1. So you're going to have to like make sure you put the points into the correct things you want. So I want ruby novice, ruby pro. That's what I needed. And then for gem crafting, gemstone processing, and the square cut is the cut I was after. That's why I went and put my points in there. If you have spent your points in something else before, you can easily reset it and get your mastery points back just by clicking this little button down here. And I believe this, we just have some because I've never bought any of these and I just have some in my inventory. So you're probably given some as like level up stuff. However, you can just go and buy it off the orb store if you don't have any. And then when you click reset on this, it doesn't reset the whole tree like some other stuff does. It will only reset the skill that you're on. So for example, if I click on this tree, I'll get these 2, or actually these 3 points back. So I'll get 3 mastery points back if I go ahead and reset on this. But if I was to reset over here, I'd only get these 2 back over here. So make sure it is on something you want to go ahead and reset, so you can put them into your gemology and your gem crafting, depending on like what gems and stuff you want to actually go ahead and make for your class. And then lastly, I just want to show you guys where you can actually get all your gear from. So what happens every day, this dungeon down below, you come to your map, you can see it's right there on the research facility. You come here in the bottom part. This is going to be, you get 2 attempts per day, which gives you a bunch of like random stuff as well as upgrade reforged stones. So it's pretty important to run this twice a day so you can get those reforged stones and get your gear. This is going to be super easy. It's only like 100 ability score. It's usually the newest dungeon that unlocks the day. And I guess once we've unlocked all the dungeons, it's kind of like just rotate through them. So you can match that and it's super easy. Only 100. It's like really easy to go ahead and quickly do this. Make sure you do those twice a day so you can get all the materials. And then if we actually come up top here, this is where all the dungeons begin, starting with the Goblin Lair. You're mainly going to want to do these on hard mode or keep track of like hard mode because it always drops a weapon plus 2 other pieces. So this is going to drop us the hands and the earrings. And then we also do get these reforged stones. Now this has a weekly limit to it. I think like 10 runs of a dungeon, more or less around 10 runs, and you'll stop getting the reforged stones. But you can still run the dungeon as many times as you want to get different gear pieces. So if you're really trying to min-max, or if you just can't get the basic weapon to drop, because this thing is like so rare to get it to drop, then you can run the dungeon over and over. There's no limit to how many times you can run it. The only limit is how many times you'll get the reforged stones. But the gear, you can always get those, so you can just farm to your heart's content. Make sure you guys are using that lucky meal thing I showed you guys about to get the triple drops. So you can actually get like 3 times worth of loot from one run. If you're just trying to get your weapon, I would suggest using it until you get your weapon and then just save it for later harder dungeons. But that's going to be the main thing, is you want to get your ability score up so you can come to the hard mode so you can get the gear. That's how we get weapon and those 2 pieces. And if we come over to the Tina's Mind Realm, you can see she drops the helmet and the necklace. They'll always drop the weapon like I said before. Coming over to the next one, Towering Ruin, we go down, drop the chest and ring, I believe that is. Yeah, legendary ring plus the weapon. And then over to the right from today's dungeon, this one is actually going to be dropping weapon plus boots and the charm. And then the next one that opens will be the Dark Mist Fortress. And I'm going to assume this will drop the 2 bracelets because that's probably what we're missing. And we see we have something there, Banelord weapon appearance. So that's actually going to be some like transmog for our weapons. That's really cool. But this only opens up in 3 days. For the next couple of days, I don't think we get a new dungeon. So you can go ahead and farm out these dungeons to get all of the gear that you may need. But that's really going to be everything for this video. So on the first week, we have gotten close to 10k ability score, totally free to play, focusing on our talents, our skill training, as well as our gear, and then just doing all the progression and stuff as it becomes available. We haven't been going through ham, so nothing crazy you have to do to achieve this. It's very achievable. And hopefully this video helped you guys out so you can go out there and get your ability score up. Thank you so much for watching. If you did find it helpful, please drop a like and sub on the channel, as that helps me out a ton, and I'll catch you beautiful people on the next one. Augiesaint out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying